grade 10s. Have you ever struggled to analyze data you have collected with a questionnaire? Well, today we are joining Lebo and her friends as they analyze the data they collected using a questionnaire. Lebo was feeling that she didn't get enough money from her parents to cover all her expenses. To try to justify an increase to Lebo's parents, the group designed a questionnaire to collect data on the amount of money their classmates received and what they spent it on. Let's join them as they analyze the answers.
Okay, so how are we going to record all the information we've collected from the questionnaires?
Well, we need to draw up a table and record the responses for each question.
You're right. We'll need to work carefully and mark each questionnaire. Once we recorded the data from it, or we might just lose count.
I also think we should number each questionnaire so we can check that we've recorded the data accurately.
We'll number the questionnaires first, and then we'll divide the whole pile into 3 so each of us can record data.
Good idea.
The total is 33, guys. So that means between the 3 of us, we get 11 each. So Thabo, 1 until 11 is yours.
Mine, okay.
And then 12 until 22 should be yours, Cindy. And I'll have the rest, 23 to 33.
Okay, but we need some sort of table to record the data. If we put the number of the questionnaire in the first column, then we can use the following column to capture the data from each of the questions.
Well, that makes sense. But I mean, we'll need lots of columns. Look at question 2. We need to record data from 7 different categories.
That means we'll need 9 columns in total to record all the information in one table.
I suppose we could manage if we turn the page lengthways.
That'll work.
Maybe we should show up 2 tables, one for each question, and then the columns won't be so squashed.
We could use a computer to enter the data onto a spreadsheet, and once we've captured the data, we can print it out and it will look really neat.
Using a spreadsheet will make it easier to organize the data later on.
Thabo, you're the man.
I'm glad to see that our friends are taking time to plan how they're going to count and organize data from the questionnaires. A spreadsheet is a great way of organizing information, and it's really easy to use. Let's look at how you could use it to capture data. The spreadsheet is a grid made up of rows and columns. Each block is called a cell. You can enter column headings into the cells and then record data in each of the cells below the headings. Once all the data is entered, you can print it, sort it, do calculations with it, or even extract a graph of the data you've entered. I wonder who it is. Hello?
Hi, Mrs. Masimang. It's Lebo here. I'm just calling to let you know that we've finished organizing and recording all the data from the questionnaires.
Oh, that's nice, Lebo. Tell me what you've done.
Well, we worked out that we needed to transfer all the information from the questionnaire onto a table. Then we realized that we needed to put data from each question in a separate column. We used a spreadsheet to enter the data and printed out the questions separately. Because we had numbered the questionnaires, we were able to check that we had entered the data correctly.
Sounds very impressive. Can you mail me the spreadsheet?
Yes, I could do that right now. It should get to you in any minute.
Thanks. My mailbox is open. I'll see it when it arrives. What did you do next?
After we had counted and organized the data from the questionnaires, we discussed how to analyze it and use it to present an argument to our parents. We remembered that our teacher told us that there are 3 different averages that can be used to compare our sample with a larger group, called the mode, the median, and the mean.
That's right. I'm glad you remembered those useful terms. Ah, your mail is here now.
Oh, good. Now you'll be able to see our data while we're chatting. Our problem is that we aren't quite sure what each of the terms mode, mean, and median are, and which of these measurements to use in our argument.
I've got a clever way to help you remember. The word mode is the only one of these three terms that has an O in it, and the letter O is the first letter of the word often. The mode is the number that appears most often in a sample of data. Have a look at the data on your spreadsheet that you collected from the first question. What number in the list appears the most often?
Well, 50 Rand appears 8 times. 100 Rand appears 12 times. And 150 Rand appears 6 times. There are only 2 entries for the other values. This means that there are more students who receive 100 Rand than there are any other amount of pocket money. So, is the mode 100 Rand?
That's right. Now I'll tell you how I remember the meaning of the term median. I link the word median to the word middle. They both contain the letter D. The median indicates the middle position in a sample once the values have been arranged in ascending or descending order. Have another look at the values in the table. You already know there are 33 values entered. You need to find the middle value. To do this, you need to order the data from smallest to biggest. Then find what the value of the number in the middle is.
Okay, Zindi showed us how to order the numbers on the spreadsheet by sorting them. I have a table of the sorted values in front of me, but how do I find the middle number?
You know that the size of your sample is 33. And this is an odd number. And there will be a middle number with exactly the same number of entries below and above it. To find the middle number, we add 1 to the number of entries and divide it by 2.
I get it. 33 plus 1 is 34. Divided by 2 is 17. So the middle number is 17th on the table, which is 100 Rand. Is that right?
Correct. Well done.
Well, it's easy to find the median if there is an odd number of values in the data. But what if there's an even number of values in the data? How would we find the middlemost value then?
Good question. If you have an even number in your sample, you still need to find the value in the middle position. Take a look at your table and exclude the highest value. In this sample, you now have 32 values. The middle position lies between the 16th and 17th value. We calculate the value of the median here by finding the value that lies in the middle between the 16th and 17th values. If the middle value is not easy to see, then one way to find the middle value is to add the values of the 16th and 17th entries together and divide by 2.
So, are you now finding the mean of these 2 values?
That's right. In this example, both the 16th and 17th values are the same, so the median would still be 100 Rand. If, in a completely different sample of 32 entries, the 16th entry had a value of 50 Rand and the 17th entry had a value of 100 Rand, we would find the median by adding them together and dividing by 2. This gives us 75 Rand, which is halfway between 50 Rand and 100 Rand. In this case, 75 Rand is the median, even though it is not one of the values collected in the data.
Okay, I get it. Thanks.
There's one more average we need to examine, the mean. The word mean is very interesting. Let me explain it by using the example of the allowance you recorded in your table. If you add together the total amount of money the 33 learners in your sample get, and then divide that amount into 33 equal parts, the share that each learner gets would be the mean value of the allowance given to all the learners in the sample. Do you think that would be fair?
I'm not sure. If my allowance is larger than someone else's, because my parents expect me to buy more items for myself, I would think that was quite mean.
I agree, that would be mean.
But how does a mean help us as a measurement when analyzing data?
The mean determines the average or the middle of the data by taking into account every value in the data.
So, are there actually 3 averages or ways of finding the middle of a set of data?
Yes, there are 3 averages. In your sample, the mean value was 115 Rand, while the other 2 averages are both 100 Rand. This gives us the idea that the middle value of the data or the central tendency for this sample is around 100 Rand.
That's what I thought. This is really not going to help me persuade my parents to give me an increase.
Isn't it interesting how each measure of central tendency produced a slightly different result? Let's recap the 3 measures now. Often the mean is referred to as the average of data. You calculate this by adding all the numbers together to find the sum and dividing by the number of items. This is probably the measure of central tendency that you use the most. Mode means the piece of data that occurs the most often. It is easiest to find this by arranging your data into ascending order first, but you can also find it by looking at unorganized data. To find the median, you must first arrange your data into ascending order. Once you have done this, you find the middlemost piece of data. This can be done by calculating the number of the middle term as Lebo and her friends did. That will be all for today. You may wish to try some of the tasks in the data handling task video. You will also be able to learn more about data handling on our website, www.mindset.co.za/learn. Goodbye.